Hi guys, Chris Lendrum here from strengthphysio.com. This is part 6 of our squat series on how to squat. What we're going to go through today is loading. So we've gone through our mobility drills, we've practiced the movement with our motor control, with our squatting. Now we're going to go through loading. So the first thing we're going to do to load is a goblet squat with a dumbbell. Okay, so once you've done your squat and you feel good with it technique wise, we're going to go for a goblet squat. So the first thing you're going to do is grab a dumbbell or a kettlebell, either's fine. We're going to hold the dumbbell nice and close to your chest, and what that's going to do is force you to keep this nice upright position. Then we're going to get in a good position with the feet, chest up, down into that squat, and back up again. Okay, simple as that. Okay, so this is our first progression. Okay, so that's our first progression from bodyweight squats. So you start to load using a fairly light dumbbell to start with, and obviously as you get stronger, you would go up with that dumbbell. The other way that you can progress that one is a barbell. So using a barbell, again, just classic barbell squats. So we're going to come onto the back, okay, shoulder width apart with the feet, exactly the same thing. It's slightly harder keeping that chest up because now the weight is on the back rather than the weight being in front of you, which kind of forces you to keep your chest up. This way you can come forward. So we really need to think about keeping that chest up, driving down to the bottom of that position and back up again. Okay, so it's down and back up again. Okay, again, simply with the bar loaded to whatever weight you feel you're capable of. Again, you want a weight really that you can do for 12 to 15 reps when you first start learning the skill, learning the squat, and then as you progress, and if you want to go into, obviously, depending on your goals, if you want to get stronger, then you're going to need to do the lower reps. If you want to put on some muscle, some tone, then you need to do your medium reps, 8 to 12, and obviously there are caveats to that. So if you want to put on muscle, then you need to do strength and hypertrophy training and some metabolic damage training or metabolic conditioning as well. So again, that's completely out of the scope of this video because we could talk about that for ages. But essentially, this is just a stimulus to help you build on your squat, to help you learn the squat to a point where you're happy putting load on. You're not going to get injured putting load on. So again, a lot of these other things, the mobility of the other joints and then the motor control, all these things are building a really strong foundation so that when you start to do barbell squats or you start to do goblet squats, when you start to add load, you're not going to break down, you're not going to get knee injuries, you're not going to get hip problems because you've got all the adequate mobility and you've got the skill of doing the movement. That's what this is all about. So the final part is moving into that more performance area where you're working on your strength, you're working on metabolic conditioning, if you're working on fat loss, all these different things, but you're going to want to start using load. And if you go through the series, you should be in a position where you're not going to get injured, where you're not going to have problems. Another type of squat, the kind of, not the daddy of the squats, but really one of the difficult movements from a mobility perspective with a squat is an overhead squat. So I'm just going to introduce this to you, and I'm going to do another video series in future on how to progress and improve your overhead squat. Again, a lot of the things we did in the 6-part series for the squat will relate into the overhead squat, but because you're using your shoulders a bit more, then there's going to be a few things with the shoulders that you need to do with the overhead squat. I'm just going to introduce that to you. So with the overhead squat, we're going to hold the bar over the head, and we're simply going to come down into that squat position, but with a bar over the head. Okay, so it's down and up. Okay, so we're going to do that from the side. Down and up. Okay, one more. Again, so that type of squat, more difficult, requires a lot more mobility, needs a lot of practice, but again, that's kind of where we're headed with all the mobility work, is the ability to do an overhead squat is kind of one progression further on from doing a normal squat. I would say build your foundation with the squat, build a really good squat, and then if you want to go into overhead squatting, watch my next or my video series, which will be coming up next couple of months on how to overhead squat. But for now, concentrate on the squat, build a really good squat. It will be good for reducing injuries in your knees, reducing pain in your knees and your lower back. Squats are a fantastic exercise. Very misunderstood, and a lot of people think it's bad for the knees. It's only bad for the knees when you do it wrong. Okay, so if you do it with bad form, yes, it's going to be bad for the knees. If you do these types of exercises to get a really good position when you squat, then you should have no problems at all. So I hope you've enjoyed this 6-part video series. Please leave comments if you've got any other videos that you'd like to see on technique, on injury prevention, rehabilitation, then please let me know. Go onto my YouTube channel or go onto www.strengthphysio.com. You can leave comments there. I've got all my blogs there with my articles, and I post videos up to there as well. So as I say, hope you've enjoyed it, guys, and I will see you next time.